It's very easy to get caught going down a rabbit hole of what's great about a product when you're ready to buy something. But man, not everything's great. There's always something that's not great about a product. So what I always like to do is tell you some of the things that I don't love about a product that I use all the time. The H-Pattern Shifter that you're going to buy for your sim rig, it's something that you're going to want to use when you want to rip it, you know? There's nothing that you can do that will mimic driving a car that adding a shifter. But the truth of the matter is there's some downfalls to the Thrustmaster TH8A. So what I wanted to show you was a ride down what I think are the 3 reasons why I wouldn't go with this if I had to do this again. So let's talk about it. All right, so let's start off with what I think is the biggest issue right here, which is you clamp this to whatever your rig has. So I have this little like shifter add-on, and it's got all these holes for me to be able to drill wherever I want. It's supposed to be able to be compatible with anything. But this guy, this shifter, only comes with, like, check this out, like it comes with this. It's like a clamp that you then clamp onto whatever your surface is for your rig, and then the shifter is on top. So now this can be rotated so that the face of it, so that I could kind of put it wherever as far as whatever the angle is. But dude, come on now. I want to be able to mount this to my rig. So that is by far number 1. The biggest issue that I see with this is that, you know, after like 2 or 3 aggressive races, it definitely is starting to migrate a little over to what I think is its pocket. I call it the pocket, where it's just, it really naturally wants to sit. Like I had it at a 90-degree angle with my rig, and actually it just kind of wants to be more, you know, I'm pulling when I go down to 2 or up to 3 and then down to 4, I'm pulling a little bit more towards me, and you can see it moving and angling a little bit more towards my seat. It's not a lot. It's not a huge deal. It's not the end of the world. But do I want to mount it to my rig? Yeah, absolutely. Number 2 is the height of this shifter. Now, if you want to look at it like, what is it going to feel like if I'm actually driving a car? It mimics it. I have a Kia Soul that is stick shift, and this is almost exactly what it feels like to drive my car in real life. This size of a shifter. But the height of this is just too tall. It's too tall because of the gearbox being too big. That's what it means. So when I mean gearbox, think of it this way. How far does my body have to travel to go from 1 to 2? My hand went from 1 to 2, up to 3, back to 4. That gearbox is like this big to me, right? It's a very big box of room that I need to do stuff, okay? And it's not how you would race. Like if you had a racing shifter, you would want it to be like hand movements instead of full shoulder movements. Look at it this way. When I used to teach drums, I would tell my students that the faster muscles are the smaller ones. The bigger the muscle gets, then the slower it is. So how fast can you do this if you had to get it up to the same height every single time? This is about as fast as I could do this because I'm using my shoulder. Then once I get down to my elbow, I can do that a lot faster. Then when I get to my hand, I can do that a lot faster with my wrist. When I get to my fingers, so much faster. So as your muscles get smaller, you can go much faster. The same thing goes with the shifter. If your gearbox is huge, it's going to naturally take you more time to get between the gears. If I'm racing, I want it to be a wrist movement of my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. Not this. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not a wrist movement. I can't do it with just my wrist. I'm trying to. 3, 4. It's ridiculous. It's 3, 4. You see that? I'm using more of my upper arm. And when I do a lot of races, I actually feel it on my shoulder. Like if I do like 2 or 3 hours of racing in a day, I can feel it the next day on my shoulder because it's a lot on your shoulder, and I don't want to have that much travel. So that is definitely one thing that I would say is bumming me out. It's the size of this gearbox. And then I wanted to show you that with the height of the shifter and the size of the gearbox, here's the last problem that I have. Let's go take it over to the big screen. What this is tracking is what my shifter is actually doing. So when I bring this up to 1, that's 1. 2 is all the way down here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 reverse. Okay. Now, when you look at those lines, they're not great. They're not very clean in this area. And look how much I'm able to draw in this area. If you drove stick, you would know that this much give in the middle is huge. What this needs to be is tight here in the middle. It needs to be tight. It's way too loose in the middle area. I'm moving the stick around like this right now. So what the problem here is when you go from 2 to 3, you know, if you drive stick in real life, you shouldn't have to guide that into 3. It should want to go to 3 just by me pushing it up. And that did just happen. Right? That just went up. But I kind of missed again. So what you'll notice, I went to 4. You have to be absolutely perfect to get to 3 because of how loose it is in here. It doesn't naturally go exactly snap into 3, down to 4, up to 5, down to 6. You have to kind of guide it a little bit more than I would like to. And that is the last thing that I'll say about this, is that I wish that it snapped back to a tighter middle like it does in real life. Right? When I bring this, if I just were to snap this back to the middle, see, it doesn't naturally just like there's like a middle ground there. It missed. It went from all the way over here to here. It should stop in a circle this big right here. So I wish that it was a little bit tighter. So because of that, what's the answer? What do you go with? Now there are 2 fixes for this. This first one's pretty cool. Check this out on eBay. You can get a mount that is 3D printed. So right there you go. If you wanted to do that, you can. It's just an extra $40, but hey, whatever, no big deal. But then again, now you're spending $240 if you wanted to mount it to your rig. Also, here's a question. This looks like a product that I've never tested. It's a Thrustmaster TH8S. And it looks like it's a short shifter. That's what I want. This is the height of what I want my shifter to be compared to this guy. Look how tall this is. Look how tall that is comparably. Right? You see the difference? So this one's much shorter, but it's only $70. So what's that about? I've never tried this one. You can let me know in the comments if you like it, if it's worth it or not. Something tells me maybe not. It looks like it still has the same type of clamping system. Yep, and it's much weaker, you can tell. So that's not good, but I do want that height. So help me out in the comments. What is the answer when I ask you, what is the shifter under $300 that's the most bang for the buck? And, you know, the one that I'll probably end up going with next, you know, what will it be? I wanted to stay in the Thrustmaster family, but I don't think there's another level of quality when it comes to shifters, and definitely ones that you can mount to your rig. So I'm thinking about getting a motion rig here next, and I'm definitely going to want to mount that to something sturdy. So what do I do? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Help me out. What is the best shifter for under $300? What is the best shifter for you? In your eyes, the best bang for buck, regardless of the money. What do you think? Because I think we can all learn from the comments section in this video. The TH8A is great for what it is, and I'll have another video that comes out on the things that I love about it, because there certainly are many. I don't want you to just think it's doom and gloom, but if you think this thing is all just, you know, S's and G's, you got another thing coming. So I hope this video helps you figure out what's right for you. I'll see you in the comments section. I like to respond to each and every one of you. So check me out down there. Let's figure out what the best shifter is, because that's what I want for me and for you.